Peace, love, and balance, everybody. Peace, love, and balance. It's your girl Isha, the goddess of wisdom, also known as Goddess on the Rise, the Copper Queen, the Power Hoodie Queen, bringing this sacred energy exchange 222, y'all. So, look, I know I'm up fairly early. I'm up fairly early because yesterday, when I closed up the shop, I took a spiritual bath and went to bed pretty early. So, I was in the bed by like 7 p.m. I was planning to take a short little nap, but those never work out right when you try to take a nap in the evening. I didn't wake up until like 1:30 and I wasn't able to go back to sleep. And I had been researching the night before and the day of yesterday about the topic for the solitary witch, which I just posted about it. Okay, so we're gonna be, this is part 6. It's been like over 9 months since I did a solitary witch um live. I tell people they come when I'm called to them, but this is another season, right? So you can watch all my solitary witches from the first one I did. There's a part 1 through 5, and then this is 6. All right, so it's like a series, I guess. All right. Before I get started, this topic is going to be covering Boston. I did post a video on here on my Facebook page and on here. If you want to go down, it's not that far away. It's like 2 posts down, and you can literally click and listen to the whole video. It's very informative. So I have a new Boston line as well. I have been looking for these for a minute. These are my Boston candles. I highly recommend them if you want to work with Boston. Let me explain something. Boston is for men and women, okay? She's the goddess of home life, family, and fertility. So obviously she's gonna help you if you and your spouse needs help in the home with your children. She's mothering and all that, okay? She's or if you need help with your independence and self-confidence, she's gonna be the person you go to. So I have those. I also have the incense holders. She loves incense, so giving her incense an offering, and then also cat symbolism. So anytime you have anything resembling a feline on your altar, which is why I'm wearing my necklace. I actually bought this in Las Vegas years ago. I couldn't leave it. This is actually Sekhmet. Honestly, this is not a cat. So it will be Sekhmet. I feel like in which we're gonna get into all that, but they are two sides of the same coin. But yes, I have these. All these on my website, goddessontherise.life. She also likes tiger's eye. Tiger's eye. So I have these tiger eye arrowhead necklaces. This is the only one I have left. If you want to get this one, tiger's eye. All right, copper. This is copper, and this is a tiger's eye arrowhead. Okay. She loves tiger's eye stone. And also I have incense. I have incense, black cat incense, seer. So if you want to get these incense, like I said, that on my website, goddessontherise.life. She does love incense. Burning incense for her. And also we have sound bowls, and she loves music. She loves music, so playing your singing bowl while you sing, playing tones for her in general can either call upon her or get you what you need. But she loves music. Those are on my website, goddessontherise.life, and also the she loves the other. This is actually the last one I have left in stock. I sold several of these. I will be restocking them, but they may not get restocked immediately. So look, first come, first serve on this last one. This is solid brass. It's like 9.5 inches. It's pretty big. I love them. I use them in my rituals. And lastly, we have a black candle. So black candles are good for banishing, protection, tapping into your dark energy if you need to, embracing your dark side, all right, curses, hexes, all right, all that, okay? But I tell people they're good for protection and just banishing negative energy and dark energy. So when you're going, this is a dark feminine practice, working with Boston. Now she is a duality. That's why she has segments. She's a light, she's tender, she's light, and she's dark. So she's a sun goddess that's also associated with the moon. She helps you be tender, and she also can help you be ferocious if you need to be, okay? Gentle, but, stand up for yourself and things like that. Oh, one more thing. One more thing. We have the oils. I didn't show this last time, so we have oil working. She's the goddess of perfume. So you could either make oils yourself for her, make an oil for her, or purchase this oil and anoint your altar with her. Like if you have an altar of her, you want to anoint the altar and all that stuff, or anything. Your incense. This is not to be put on the skin or in the bathtub. I have some that you can, but these are not what I mean. It comes with warnings on there too. But the Boston oil, because she loves perfume and it does smell good. She loves perfume. So putting this on your altar, paying homage to her, all that, y'all. So that is the Boston collection at this time. I really don't know where I want to start. I'm gonna start by ringing the bell first. Let me ring the bell. Earth, air, fire, water, spirits of universe, most high, high, seven spirit guides of balance light. Ancestors known of balance light. Please come into this space and provide us a divine message for the solitary witch part 6, y'all. This is solitary witch part 6. All right, so look, I did gather a lot of information about bosses. Like I said, y'all are welcome to look at that video, but obviously I'm online right now, so I'm gonna go into what Bostic is. Okay, Bostic is a healer, and she was actually put in the position of the cat because they was scared of Sekhmet. Sekhmet was a warrior goddess of justice. Okay, so they had to find a way to gentle her down. The patriarchy did this, and they transformed her into the cat spirit. Okay, domesticated her, right? But she's a healer of illnesses, so she's actually like a herbalist herself. So she loves working with plants and medicine to help people heal and heal the sick. So if you're not feeling well, you could call upon her to ask you to help you learn how to heal yourself or for healing in general. Okay, she's a soul protector. She knows how much people's souls are under attack, specifically here on planet Earth. She knows dark entities, especially people, followers of her, are always under attack because she's been under attack so heavily. So she will protect her followers because now I tell people, don't be no hypocrite. Don't think you're going to be a part-time Boston follower and then practicing Satanism somewhere else or patriarchy or whatever. You know what I mean? If she does not work like this, she will not protect you. Okay? She just will not. You have to be loyal to this. Okay? So she will literally protect your soul because people don't get, souls do get snatched. Some people never come back. They may be physically still here. Like you may be physically still walking, talking, and breathing, and you appear to be here, but your soul got snatched a long time ago. You're not you're not even in control of your own body no more. All right, and it's a lot of people like that. So then we have emotional and spiritual balance. She helps you balance your emotional and spiritualness. Okay, so sometimes our emotions can get all out of whack. You know what I'm saying? Our emotions can get all out of whack, even our spiritual practices, in balance, right? She will help you keep your spiritual practice steady. Like she don't play it. Like I don't think I think anybody that's been following me for a while, I talked about a couple of months ago how out of nowhere she like forced me to redo my entire altar that I had for her because it wasn't resembling her. It was not enough. Now it was things obviously on there about her, but she was like, "You can do better than this. It's time." And for out of nowhere in the middle of the night, kind of like how I'm up right now, in the middle of the night, I got up, tore that altar apart, and now it's what it needs to be. Okay, but she would definitely help you on your spiritual journey, your spiritual cleanliness, spiritual practice, spiritual consistency, and emotions. Because this also, since she works with the moon and even the sun, this is so the solar energies and the lunar energies is what she works with. That's a lot energetically, and it can definitely mess with your emotions when you're not, if you get out of balance and harmony. Okay, she's about mystery and grace. She helps you balance the wild and the domestic, fierce and gentle warrior and mother, and she can help you maintain independence and a companionship to the family. Okay, so look, so she's an example that she get right here, to the family. Strength and tenderness can coexist together, and the true power is in balancing them both. So she letting you know you don't have to pick a side of either or if you want to be, if you don't want to. That's what I'm saying. She's letting you know you. So she has options. She can help you be independent, fearless, don't need nobody else but yourself if that's truly what you want. She's there because she doesn't discriminate, because she knows this is about your journey and what's best for you. But she also is here for you if you want to learn how to balance being a father or a mother and being a family without losing your independence and your identity. Because and like she said, the true power is in balancing them both. So she is a very family oriented being, goddess. You know what I'm saying? She's family oriented. She's about family. So I got right here, She reminds us that the true strength is not defined by one's ability to conquer or destroy, but by the capacity to care for, nurture, and protect those we love. So yes, in a world full of always people trying to conquer us, tell us what to do, dominate us, and that is heavily pushed, she's like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. It's about being loving and nurturing and protecting those you love. Why do you need to conquer it? Because let me tell you this: if you feel like you need to conquer someone or something, that just proves that your weakness. Because the only way you feel empowered is while people are under you. That's not the same. A true king or queen cares about equality and balance and harmony. Okay, they want collaboration. Competition happens at the bottom. Collaborations happen at the top. Okay. Because, you know what I'm saying? So it has right here. True power lies not in domination or destruction, but in the ability to nurture, protect, and balance the forces of light and darkness within ourselves. As long as we seek strength and tenderness, courage and vulnerability, and protection and love, Boston spirit will continue to rise. So, yes, we have to see, you see all that? You have to be tender, courageous, vulnerable, protective, loving for the being bossed spirit, because obviously if you're vulnerable, which is why she protects your soul, and you're being in a tender place, that's when people want to attack you most, because people see tenderness and vulnerability and your ability to love as a sign of weakness, specifically with women, but with men too. But I feel like it's more targeted in women. So anytime they see a woman in her soft energy, feminine energy, they look at her like she's a good meal to eat up, because she probably naive. She probably ain't aware about nothing. She probably gonna be easy to manipulate, easy to control. So she doesn't recommend you not protect those qualities that you have from people that will come after you to target you and attack you just to have a good time with hurting you. Unfortunately, that's what being in this energy attracts. And that's actually patriarchy too. It's patriarchy. It's patriarchy. So let's go in a little history right here. I've been having some crazy questions, but that's why I've been ignoring them. As the Romans conquered Egypt in 30 BCE, which is before Christ era. Now, let me talk about that. Egypt has got conquered in from Romans, Persians, and Greeks. So everybody was constantly conquering that land and stealing its spiritual practices and changing them however they wanted to, or just doing away with them altogether. That's another thing. So I tell people, if you can do as much research as possible, because you remember they destroyed things, they burnt scrolls. The only thing they couldn't destroy was the writings on the wall. But remember, they were shooting off the noses on the stuff. They actually tried to destroy Boston's temple and stuff like that. So that's what I'm saying. They destroyed a lot of stuff and reused it and claimed it as their own. Okay, but this is before Christ era. The Romans conquered Egypt in 30 BCE. They incorporated many aspects of Egyptian religion into their own belief system. Bastet became a part of Roman religious practice, especially as Roman culture continued to embrace the Egyptians' fascination with the divine and the afterlife. So that is why you see the Roman Catholic Church look like a ritual, because it is. That's why if you go into the Roman Catholic Church, if you've ever been in the cathedral, which I have, they have candles everywhere. They have altars everywhere. They have statues of Mary and Jesus. You know what I'm saying? It's not just Jesus that they heavily focus on, just in modern Christian churches. And the Roman Catholic Church, they pay homage to Mary, and we're about to get into that too. They pay homage to Mary heavily, okay? And Mary is a very dominant figure in Roman Catholic Church, and where it came from. We're gonna get into all that. I don't want to jump too soon. But that's what I'm saying. They got all those things from Egypt. They got all those spiritual practices incorporated into their practice from Egypt, okay? So it has right here. In medieval Europe, the cat was demonized as a symbol of evil. It became the familiar of the witch and a consort of the devil. The black cat, in particular, which is associated with the black woman, became a fear symbol of everything dark. So, yes, the black cat, the cat in general, That's another thing. Whatever species cat it is, the cat in general got demonized. If you remember on Black Panther, what did he say? We pay honor to Bast. And then if you ever seen Catwoman, the one with the Halle Berry played Catwoman, I recommend everybody. That's another thing. Go watch Catwoman starring Halle Berry. That woman, actually the character in there that was like the cat woman that they call her the crazy cat lady, because Halle Berry was like, you're some crazy cat lady, when she didn't understand what was happening to her. She actually plays in American Horror Story in the episode Witch. So that woman she plays her role so well. She keeps being in shows and movies geared towards the witch. She probably is one in real life. Normally when they have characters to do that, thank you so much. Normally when they have characters like that, they tend to be like that in real life. They just don't tell us that. But that's what I'm saying. So she was telling her, you a cat woman. And in the movie, in the beginning of the movie, they show you the history behind cats, Egypt, all that is in the beginning of the movie when they showing you the credits, all that about the movie. And throughout the movie, she's telling her about Bast and the cat, and how the Egyptian Mao came to the US in 1940, after the Civil War and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it gets deep. That's a good movie. It actually has factual stuff in that movie, okay? So it has right here, the shift into the new narrative was an attack on the divine. The shift into this new narrative was an attack on the divine feminine in the form of psychological warfare. So yes, them attacking bastard consciousness was definitely psychological warfare. They had to mentally strip us of our power, because the power is in the mind and in the thoughts. Okay, the mind controls everything. So destroy the mind, weaken the mind. The mind is, if you control the mind, you control the body. See what I'm saying? If you control the mind, you control the body. So that's why you never let nobody get control of your mind. They can control anything. They can convince you to do anything too. And including think like them and believe what they tell you, even if it's false. Okay? So it has right here. By doing this, they demonize the feminine principles of intuition, independence, and sensuality. Now, intuition, I'm going to go into that. The intuition is the ability to acquire knowledge or make decisions immediately without conscious reasoning or analytical thought, often described as a gut feeling. Okay, so they didn't like us trusting our intuition because it was spot on. They have been terrified of their intuition, I promise you. Okay, as well as sensuality. What is sensuality? Let's go to that. Let me see. Make sure I could have sworn I had that on here too. If I don't find it, I'm going to just keep going, but I had it on here. But okay, I can't find it, but sensuality was pretty much the ability to love yourself. Okay? So they didn't like that women were being taught how to like focus on themselves, love themselves, have a relationship with they stuff, like stuff as simple as touch, smell. You know what I'm saying? Because when they're in that energy, there it's not really a need for anything on a large scale. You see what I'm saying? So sensuality is literally going outside and enjoying the breeze. You know what I'm saying? Enjoying a meal. You see what I'm saying? Enjoying a meal, enjoying the breeze, and just simple things. You know what I mean? Just simple things to give you pleasure. All right, that doesn't require sex. See, that's the thing. Sensuality, it doesn't require sex at all. It doesn't even require physical touch. So they definitely had to destroy that because that prevents them from being able to have their way with us. Okay, and we're going to get into that too. They didn't want us practicing sensuality because what the heck are y'all here for if we can't have sex with y'all when we want, and all you care about is going outside in nature and just being in your herbs, and you don't never want to let us touch you, and you don't care about, none of that stuff. Yeah, that's another thing. That is actually the secret behind why technically they say women don't technically need men. It's not about we don't need men because they just are worthless or nothing like it. It's beyond that. When a woman is in these roles, she's independent and she's in her intuition and sensuality. She's confident. She's secure within herself. So the only way she would even consider being with a male is if she wanted to reproduce. And most of the time when you're in this energy, because you're focused on yourself, you're pouring into yourself, you're invested in yourself, you don't even, unless the man is coming into your life to literally continue adding to what you got going on and not take from you, completely not take from you, they didn't really have a need to. It was literally a choice. Okay. All right. So that's what I'm saying. They didn't like that. They had to find a way really to force themselves in our lives. Because, and the truth is, because they are born through us. So obviously a bunch of women not, wanting to be in that energy with them means their numbers won't continue to rise. So they was getting jealous because more women were in around than men, and it's still that way now. Across the globe, is globally more females born than males. Okay, so there's more females born on the planet than males. There's more females in the world than males, and that's why this world used to be matriarchy, and we're about to get into some real other stuff too. So we got right here. So it has this new world order played a huge hand in the witch hunts. The war on the witch was the war on Bostic consciousness. The witch is the independent woman who lives outside of patriarchal society, the healer, the oracle, the judger, the lover, the master, the mother. So yeah, this is Bostic. This is just a cartoon figure of Bostic, okay? So I'm saying she loved herself. You know what I'm saying? She could look in the mirror and get turned on and have an orgasm on herself if she wants to, kind of stuff. That's Bostic. That was Bostic, okay? So but yeah, so that's what I'm saying. That was the target. Now, if you do not know, I'm about to get into this. I've already talked about this before. Most of my readings I talk about this, but I'm going to read this as well. It has popular lore surrounding the notorious Salem witch trials brings to mind images of white women and girls being harmed for the perceived witchcraft, which in truth, however, of the 100 people persecuted, killed, or both during the trial, which lasted from the spring of 1692 until May 1693, majority of them were black. This highly directly impacted how black witches have been perceived in America and has contributed to the misunderstanding about non-white spiritual practices. So yes, the Salem witch trials was predominantly black women. Yes, white women, but they was like, if you don't know about Tituba, I'm gonna show this is another photo. It's a cartoon photo, but this is Tituba from Salem. It has right here. Tituba was accused during the Salem witch trials in 1692 for teaching girls fortune telling and voodoo like rituals and Caribbean magic tradition. So she was the set off of the Salem witch trials, Tituba. I still have not been there yet, but I am going. And to this day, they still actually honor Tituba in Salem, and I think that's so cool. But yes, here's something else I'm gonna read. I'm gonna show y'all. I posted this stuff before, but it's been a while, so you have to do a lot of strolling. But it has right here. This study examines Tituba's role in the Salem Massachusetts with scarce of 1692. It rejects the notion that Tituba was an African American or was involved in occult activities prior to February 1692, but stresses the multi-ethnic factors in her behavior and the influence of her American Indian background on the Puritan response. Her confessions blending elements with English, African, and American Indian notions of the occult and linking folk practices to a light concept of the devil was of particular significance in shaping of the bizarre event. So I don't know if y'all remember about the getting a little bit off topic about the Haitian Revolutionary War and how Cecil Phantom was the system, the source behind them winning the Haitian Revolutionary War with a voodoo ritual. She pretty much was able to, she tapped into her ancestors. She tapped into her ancestors. You know what I'm saying? So this was actually before the Haitian Revolutionary War. That's what I'm saying. So, and remember, we was getting shipped everywhere. That's another thing. We was getting shipped everywhere because they said Tituba was enslaved. So people from everywhere was getting shipped everywhere. Everybody ended up in different places and stuff like that. And it's hard to keep up with record of all that. But this fear was heavy of the Black Witch specifically. Okay, the powers of the Black Witch. This it's always been heavily demonized, but any woman or man that identifies with the Black Witch was demonized heavily. Okay, so they had to literally start a whole movement associated with destroying that Bostic consciousness. Okay, so here I posted this too. All right, it has in ancient Egypt, a person could be put to death for harming a cat. Felines were viewed as sacred protectors in the earthly form of the goddess Bastet. Entire cemeteries containing thousands of mummified cats have been discovered left as offerings by her followers. So yes, anytime a cat passed away, they would mummify the cat and literally take it to her grave site. You know what I'm saying? For they was doing. Okay, here we go. I found it. Okay, I wanna get back to this. Let's get back to sensuality and sexuality real quick. So it got sensual pertains entirely to the senses. It is a state of being where you appreciate physical experiences such as feeling a warm breeze, tasting a rich meal, or listening to music, which is why Bastet loves music, right? And she loved to eat too. And sexuality pertains to physical intimacy, reproduction, or erotic desire. While sex inherently involves the senses, sensuality does not require a sexual context. So that is this is important about this sensuality because it doesn't require sex. And let's just keep it real. Males are particularly more physical. You know what I'm saying? They you know what I mean? So that took a lot of power away when women were only focused on their independence and sensuality and not their sexuality. Okay. But this is the thing. Goddess Bastet is about family. And she the goddess of, I'm gonna show you this. She's the goddess of the pleasures of life. So she's the goddess of pleasures of life. She rules sex, fertility, magic, music, prosperity, joy, dance, and healing. So she still that's another thing. So just because women wanted to focus on loving sensuality too, having sensuality protects you from being forced to be with a low vibrational person, a man, or anything. You know what I'm saying? Because most time being in your sexuality is being in your lower self. It's the root, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus area specifically. And if a man or a woman are in their ego and they're not rooted and their sacral chakra is all over the place, you need to be able to recognize that, which is your intuition. So, and you need to have independence so you can have options. They didn't like those. They didn't like that. They didn't like that we could choose, okay, this person is too much in their ego, too low vibrational. I'm not opening my portal to you and letting you put your unbalanced phallus in me or what and put your and plug into me. You know what I'm saying? They didn't like that. They had to gain control. This is all about gaining control. This is about gaining control over your mind, your heart, your spirituality, and your body. Because there's nothing control. That's why Christianity and patriarchy are hand in hand. They had to use things to maintain. This is a enslavement, by the way, too. This is enslavement. They had to strip her of everything so she would be forced to submit and obey. Ain't that crazy? And then forced to be in community with him. You know what I mean? Which is crazy, okay? That's too much. Why would you not just want love, okay? But look, here it is right here. I posted this too, but I did not post it again today, so I'm showing y'all. If you want to screenshot that. So it has, during the Battle of Pelusium in 525 BCE, Persians reportedly utilized cats as a tactical advantage against the Egyptians, who revered cats in their religion and refrained from harming them. This strategy exploited the Egyptians' religious belief, contributed to the Persians' victory by causing hesitation among Egyptian soldiers faced with the dilemma of fighting while risking harming the cats. Okay. Yes, I posted this on YouTube. But yeah, so they literally purposely, the Persians, which was a very effed up move, but at the same time, a very successful one. Okay. They literally, you're welcome. They literally used cats they knew were very precious to them to defeat them, because obviously they literally grabbed a bunch of cats, started throwing them, shooting them. They knew how they felt about them, right? And you got to think, see, they mess with their heart. They mess with their spiritual practice. Doesn't that sound like something similar? That's all I'm going to say. Colonization, right? This is modern day colonization. They always attack your spiritual practice, your heritage, to break you, to break you. And they was trying not to kill the cats, and they lost the battle because they were trying to protect the cats from being killed instead of defeating this enemy. You see what I'm saying? That's how powerful that was. So this is why you need Basta too. Basta, when I told you she helps you with your spiritual strength and all that. And so spiritualness has to be a wise move. Like obviously, I can't imagine how they felt. I can only, or I can only imagine how they felt. How about that? But I can't experience what they were feeling in that moment. But what they should have did was killed them MFers and then buried them cats later. See, this is where segment comes out. They should have killed them MFers and cried after their bodies was buried and burnt and buried them cats and bred some more. You know what I'm saying? They should have won that battle, but that's what I'm saying. So don't let people play on your spiritual practices, okay? Don't let them do that. Now, so let's go into I want to go into this, okay? Now, this is another reason why a lot of patriarchy was put up. Let's think about this. Christianity and patriarchy spread like wildfire. It spread like wildfire. They were on a mission to destroy the divine feminine. Now, if you do not know, a lot of the Bible verses in the Bible and chapters in the Bible, like Genesis is Isis, stem from Egypt, the ancient Egyptian scrolls. So just like I told you about how the Romans stole from Egypt and stole their practices and incorporated into their practices, they did the same thing with their texts. They used Egyptian texts and stole it and used it in their Roman Bible. Yes, they did. This is a stolen legacy. So that's why, even though I ain't gonna say it was easy, but this is why we was able to be indoctrinated easier, because a lot of those texts were familiar to us. That's how they get us. A lot of those texts, we like, okay, we was doing that may be okay. So they was able to indoctrinate us because they stole our text and whitewashed it actually. So we're gonna get into that too. I talked about this before. I do have a live about this. So the black codes. The black codes passed after the Civil War to limit rights of freedom. It has right here, what were the black codes? I posted this before, but I haven't posted in a while. The black codes were basically laws that only applied to blacks. There were many different subjects that the codes dealt with, like property or marriage, just like they do today. In Mississippi, the codes prevented blacks from buying or renting farmland and required them to sign a yearly labor contract with a white employer. The codes was also allowed the state to send black children to work for white employers if their parents couldn't support them. Excerpt from the book Into the Land of the Freedom. So yes, and also the black codes, I'm going to go down to this too. The black codes, the reason why I'm reading about the black codes, because, hold on, here it is. I actually have a copy if you want a copy. In the black codes, here's the Christian black codes of 1724. This is right after what they said, the Civil War and the Salem witch trials. Okay, so it has right here. Article 1 decrees the expulsion of the Jews from the colony. Article 2, making them, so remember they said that the Jews weren't black, but this is in the black codes. Okay. Article 2, make it imperative on masters to impart religious instructions to their slaves. So the masters, which is the white colonizers, had to enforce their religious on us as slaves, as they say. Article 3, permit the exercise of the Roman Catholic creed only. Every other mode of worship is prohibited. Ding, 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 ding. Hold on, ring the bell. There we go. So they purposely made us only practice Roman Catholicism. And this is how now let me tell y'all, all that was stolen too. Remember, we just talked about how they stole a lot of their teachings from Egypt and incorporated into their Roman Catholicism. That's why we have voodoo, VODOU, and voodoo, Louisiana voodoo, VOODOO. They have Catholicism in them heavily, okay? And that's how they got incorporated due to this right here. So it has right here, Article 4, Negroes placed under the direction or supervision of any person other than a Catholic are liable to confiscation. So you couldn't even be around as an enslaved black person, Negro, without a Catholic person. Crazy, right? Without a Catholic person around you. Okay? And so now the reason why I'm talking about this stuff, and specifically I notice how stuff always comes back around full circle to people of black descent, because Kemet was black people. So that black land constantly was getting conquered by different people, Persians, Greeks, and Romans, okay? Until it ended up in the U.S. And we already know the story, the Trail of Tears and all the stuff that happened, and the black codes and all that for people in the U.S. So it's literally the same story. So I did post this, and I want to talk about this. My ancestors, I want to talk about this. Oh, thank you. This I've been having this accent my whole life because I've been in the South my whole life. Okay. It got enslaved black women were often forced to breastfeed white babies because rumors has it that black women's milk was superior. Okay. Now listen, this ain't fiction. This is fact. It is a fact that they were purposely, as enslaved black women, make us breastfeed Caucasian women's babies. So you had the breast. So that's nothing. You got to think about this though. In order for a Caucasian, a black woman to breastfeed a child, she had to recently gave birth, right? So they had gave birth around the same time, and for some reason they wanted the black woman's milk, but at the same time they associated her with the black witch, with the Gnostic consciousness, and a concert to the devil and the witch. But at the same time, they knew her milk, something about her. They wanted that milk in their child body. Come on, that man, look, that right there should really ring a bell. So they destroyed, because I'm gonna tell y'all, if you ever look up, I did this before. I looked up black witch. I looked up black witch before, and a black cat showed up. A black cat does show up. So that's what I'm saying. So they want to try to make it a secret that they were talking about us. They had to demonize what they call the black witches, Gnostic consciousness. I'm like, it's crazy, but this is why. So in the book of Psalms, y'all know I'll be reading from Psalms, okay? In the book of Psalms, this is Psalms 22 verses 10, and I am using the King James Version, okay? It has right here. If you follow me on Lemonade, I do have that link on here now, so you can go to my Lemonade account and you can follow me, and I post these verses and stuff like that, But it has right here. I was cast upon thee from the womb. Thou art my God from my belly, from my mother's belly. Let's read that again. I was cast upon thee from the womb. Thou art my God from my mother's belly. And you see, she's not even called a goddess. She's called a god. The Egyptian gods and stuff like that. So that's another thing. Being a mother, that they considered that very godly. You know what I mean? These are the principles that used to be respected well before patriarchy, that they was like, F this stuff. They didn't like the power of the woman being the bringer of life. With an uncle. Even though we needed our man, because we're going to get into that. Even though we needed our man, and obviously, and you're the man that helped me bring forth this life in, they started despising it. Greed. Ego always does it. Stuff like Set and Osiris, the typical Cain and Abel story. Power driven. See what I'm saying? You feel me? Yeah, right. I need my woman too. Exactly. That's it. That's what they started getting power jewelry. And a lot of this time, I'm gonna tell y'all something too. A lot of this destruction, patriarchy, happened because of people like Seth, jealous of his brother. Seth is the typical story of Cain and Abel, Mufasa, and Scar on the Lion King. It's always some jealous brother mad because he had Isis, right? The beautiful goddess, right? He had a son, his heir, Horus, and he knew he was gonna never get access to that throne. So his ego goes out of control, and then he actually was jealous of his woman too. Why couldn't it be me? So one woman, a woman is always the center of some patriarchal bullcrap. Because they're jealous of the woman, so you're gonna be jealous of him, then jealous of his woman, and then it's just crazy. And you know what I think is crazy too? Some of this the patriarchy was built to destroy the woman, and honestly, this patriarchy has been destroying our men. I promise you, it's destroying everybody now. Y'all got scammed. Males, a lot of males that started taking on the patriarchy, because not all males jumped on the patriarchy. A lot of males know about Basti consciousness and they respect it because it's a balanced consciousness. It's a sun and moon consciousness. But the men that fell out of balance and harmony with the moon, and you just thought you was gonna forget about the feminine aspect in life, like you didn't come from your mother's belly, you didn't come from your father's belly, you came from your mother's womb and belly. Oh man, it's terrible right now. They trying to draft people now. Y'all remember when Muhammad Ali, they tried to draft him and he was like, no, he went to jail because he was like, you ain't gonna make me fight no war. They trying to draft males now. They trying to get people to sign. And they haven't did that in a long time, y'all. That's pretty scary. They're trying to draft. If you are 18, I think they'll start drafting at 15 or 16. They've done that too. But if you old enough to fight, you gonna have to come. You better watch out. So we got right here. Let's stay on track. This is Psalms 127, verse 3. It got, low children are a heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. So yes, the womb and children, your reward is the woman. And when I say that, that doesn't mean that you are owed a woman. No. You know what I'm saying? But when that happens, that is a gift. That is a universal gift for you to have, for a woman to want to create with you and have a actual heritage with you, because she is capable of being a woman on her own, especially in her Bostic consciousness, without having to do that, and she will be just fine, if not sometimes happier, depending on the woman. But she chose the mother life, you know what I'm saying, to procreate, and she didn't even have to, you know what I'm saying. That is the male's reward. But somewhere along the line, like I said, patriarchy got so hard. Because remember, patriarchy literally stripped women of everything, right? So we went through a period where we couldn't vote. We couldn't get education. We couldn't drive. We couldn't get property in our names. We couldn't do, and I say vote, we couldn't do anything but be in the house and rear children and cook meals, right? So males were specifically put in a higher position over us where we had to depend on a man. We had to. It wasn't no independence. They took our independence because that was not because they just wanted to be providers for us so we could have a soft life. It was to enslave us to the home. It was enslaving us to only bearing children, parenting the children, cleaning the house, cooking the meals, and specifically obeying the man. That was a dominant move. Domination. It wasn't love, it was domination. And you cannot expect a goddess to truly honor and respect you as her divine masculine when you're in a toxic masculine energy and she actually is in fear of you because you were put on some kind of high pedestal over her. So that's another thing. They only felt strong when they had people under them. That's ego. That's domination. If you only feel superior when somebody that you took their rights away is beneath you, you're not strong. You're weak. You shouldn't want somebody to not be in their free will just so you can maintain dominance over them and power over them. That's a weak person. That's an imbalanced person. That's a narcissistic person. And that is why narcissism is so high. Patriarchy molded people for narcissism. Okay? So look, it has right here Psalm 72 verse 5. They shall fear thee as long as the sun and moon endure through all generations. Remember, Basta is about dualities, the sun and the moon. She doesn't exclude the masculine or the feminine. She knows they have to be embodied both, and she knows how valuable they both are. So it has, they shall fear thee as long as the sun and moon endure throughout their generations. So patriarchy actually destroyed the natural alignment and the cosmic alignment of the sun and the moon naturally. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we had all these karmic babies, karmic cycles, and generational curses now that stem from back then. That's how long this curse has been going on. That one, this with these two things, patriarchy, the rise of the patriarchy, Christianity, the Abrahamic religions, and the destruction of the divine feminine did all this damage up until now, over all these generations. Okay? So look, Psalms 136, verse 8 through 9. This is another verse. And these are verses I recommend you incorporate into your spiritual practice. You could be a Christian, you could be a voodoo, spiritual, and you still use these verses. And I do sell the books. It got to the sun to rule by day, for this mercy endure forever. The moon and stars to rule by night, for this mercy endure forever. Okay? Look at that balance. The moon and the star, which you see in Islam. The moon and the star. The moon is the mother and the star is the seed. It's the symbol of the moon. That's what Islam originally meant before, once again, Abrahamic religions used the symbol and took it over. The star and the moon symbolizes the mother and the sun, the child, because the sun is nothing but a big star. Seed, the star seed. Okay? So they know us together keeps life going forever. Okay? So that is what Bostic consciousness is about. Now, I want to get into this. This is a statue in ancient Egypt. Man and woman standing side by side, okay? Very powerful image. Is one of my favorites, actually. So I'm going to read this. The woman is the mother to all, she gives life, nurtures, and teaches. So hold up. The woman is the mother to all, she gives life, nurtures, and teaches. So a woman is not, so she's a woman. So she's a mother to people she's teaching. She could be a professor teaching something. She could be a teacher at church. She could be a teacher at school, a regular school. She could be a spiritual teacher. If she's a nurturer and giving of herself, that's a mother. That's a mothering spirit, which women naturally have it. Okay. You don't have to give birth to be considered a mother, actually. You could take on mothering roles. All right. You could be a life coach. You could train, young girls and as they coming into their womanhood, right? Show them how it's done. So it got right here. She gives life, nurtures, and teaches. So she does give life. Okay, she's a giver of life. All right. She gives life, nurtures, and teaches. As the two stand together, she holds her man up, keeping him balanced and giving him peace. He stands, giving her protection and strength. Together they provide each other with power, with balance of power. So yes, this is what I mean by domination cannot rule in a sacred union, which is what patriarchy is against. They don't want balance of power. They want to be completely in power over the feminine. So patriarchies is they really terrible people on a whole nother level, because they cannot balance the power. They actually cowards. They're cowards. Okay? So we're going to read Psalms 91 verse 14. It states, because he has set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. So when a woman specifically, is naturally and divinely loved, respected, protected, cherished, seen, and heard, like treating her the way that she deserves to be treated as an empress, she raises her man up because she's proud of him. She's a mother. So it's just like seeing your child win something or do good in something. You know, say you teaching them how to use the pot, right? They done had a couple of accidents, but one day they like, Mommy, look, I go bathroom. And you like, yes. And you cheer them on and they clapping their hands, jumping around, and you do whatever you can do to make sure they keep doing it. Whether you fix them a treat, give them some treat, it's the same energy. They really technically never grow out of that energy. They love being applauded for their good works. You know what I'm saying? Now, I do recommend, if you're not being applauded, that doesn't mean you're not doing good work, because we do got haters out here and some people don't want to give you your flowers. So you must give yourself your flowers, okay? You're not going to always, don't ever just seek recognition. See, that's how you start getting in your ego too and in your pride. And this is for men and women, but when you start seeking validation and then you don't get it and then you just have to have it from other people, it will turn you corrupt. So always maintain balance and be able to give yourself power, because trust me, they will come. It's always going to come. It may not come from the people you expected. It may be come from somewhere else. That's why you need to focus on the people that's giving you your flowers and not the people that's not. Okay? So, let me find. Okay, now look. I want to talk about this because this is getting into how another aspect of how the feminine was demonized. So, well, first, before we go to, we're going to get into, let's go. We're going to get into, let me see. Hold on real quick. Hold on. We just broke that down. So since we were talking about Horus, Isis, and Osiris, we're going to get into this. I'm going to have to post this again, but I haven't posted this in a while. I'm going to post it soon. Okay, here. So this is Isis on this side. And this is Azili Danter, which is a Haitian voodoo lord. Okay, Azili Danter. So Azili Danter is associated with Azili Freda in Louisiana voodoo, as well as Mary in Roman Catholicism and Christianity and all that. It's the same thing. She's the mother of Horus, Isis, Genesis, and Azili Danter. She's the mother of the Christ, right? Same thing. That is why Haitian voodoo, Louisiana voodoo, and I know I'm using my hands right now, and Egypt really go hand in hand. Ooh, they really go hand in hand. So it has right here, symbols of the great warrior mother and goddess. This image of Isis nursing Horus served as inspiration for the classic Christian portrait of Madonna and Child, both of which descended from voodoo divine mother Azili Danter of African Haitian, mother of all the nation races, and whose worship predates all the world's divine mother goddesses and religions. Isis, Osiris, and Horus descended from, also inspired the Holy Christian Trinity. Sitting on the lap of Isis or throne of Isis was language for the warrior mother goddess' right to choose the next warrior leader. All right. So yes, the Black Madonna and Child, Azili Danter, Azili Freda, Mary, and Jesus are all the same thing. This is all the same thing. So that's why when people demonize people that practice voodoo, it doesn't make any sense, because Christianity was stolen from that. The Russians just exposed that when they opened. Ooh, let's ring the bell. Hold on. When Russia opened that whole secret vault or whatever that was, showing the Black Messiah and stuff. Yes, y'all, all these religions came from places like Ethiopia, Haiti. These were Black religions. They got whitewashed and stolen. So we really all practicing the same thing. It's just dressed up differently. Okay? But that's why it's time to go back. Okay? It's time to go back and realize where all this stuff stems from. So I'm going to read from, now this is hold on. This is also getting to, remember, Jesus and Horus is the same thing. Jesus and Horus is the same thing. So I'm going to read this. This is getting back to how the woman, specifically the oracle, got demonized to being the consort of the devil and a witch and all that stuff. So this is Luke. Let me see. This is in Luke chapter, starting in chapter 7. So I write this down, and I recommend y'all fact check. And this is the King James version, so it may be, if you have a different version, it may say something different for y'all. So Luke chapter 7, verse 44. I'm gonna start there because we're gonna have to go into a whole nother chapter, but I'm reading this, y'all. Luke chapter 7, verse 44 states, and this is and this is the text where it's in red. So that means, remember, this is Jesus talking when it's like in the red text. So we got right here. And he turned to the woman and said unto Simon, seest thou this woman? This is Jesus. Seest thou this woman? I entered into thy house. Thou gavest me no water for my feet, but she have washed my feet with tears and wiped them with the hairs of her head. Who is this? Some woman that he entered into the house, and she didn't have no water to offer him, but she used her tears and her hair apparently and cleansed his feet. She got, thou gavest me no kiss, but this woman since the time I came in have not ceased to kiss my feet. So she kissed his feet. Dang. She kissed his feet. Now look, I'm not telling nobody to do this. I'm just reading what this says. Because remember, the Bible was created from a patriarchal perspective, which is why, as a hoodoo, I use the book of Psalms. Because some of this stuff was to make women look less than a man. It just was. And making men look higher than us. And I'm going to tell you why. 46. My head with oil thou didst not anoint, but this woman hath anointed my feet with ointment. So she anointed his feet with oil. Again, wherefore I say unto thee, her sins, which are many, are forgiven, for she loved much, to be whom little is. Again, right here. For she loved much, but to whom little is forgiven, the same love of little. And he said unto her, thy sins are forgiven. And they that sat at meat with him began to say within themselves, who is this that forgiveth sins also? That was a question. And he said to this woman, thy faith has saved thee, go in peace. So because this woman, because remember, men were put on a higher pedestal over women. This is the Abrahamic era, right? Women had been completely destroyed, literally. Egypt had been conquered, all that stuff, and dismantled in so many ways. That what he said, you're forgiven. All things you've done, you're forgiven, because of the kindness she showed him and the respect that she showed him. But let me just tell you something. That was, it's cool and all, but why did she have to do all that? See what I'm saying? They degraded the woman. Why? Because I'm gonna be honest, I'm not kissing nobody's feet, and I'm not using my hair to wipe nobody's fucking feet. Nobody. I'm not doing that. But see what I'm saying? They weren't satisfied until they brought women that low. See what I'm saying? That's what this is about. Now look at this. This is chapter 8, Luke chapter 8. And it came to pass afterwards that he went throughout every city and village. This is Jesus preaching and shewing the glad tidings of the kingdom of God. And the 12 were with them. So the 12 disciples were with them. And certain women which had been healed of and certain women which had been healed of evil spirits and infirmities, Mary called Magdalene, out of whom went 7 devils. What? Okay, hold on. So look, this is the Holy Grail. Mary Magdalene and Jesus, aka Yeshua, are the Holy Grail. And they did. You see this child she's holding? They did have a seed. Jesus does have a bloodline that they have been hiding for a long time, because they were so mad that Jesus bred a child with a woman like that. So the reason, remember I told y'all about how witches got considered to be the consort of the devil. And it says 7 devils. So more than likely, when they count them, that means she was in touch with spirits, right? And they considered familiar spirits, so saying a demonic practice. So Mary Magdalene was a witch. And there are gospels of the Gospel of Mary. I don't have them in front of me right now. It's okay. I have 2 books covering the Gospels of Mary. One of them I read, the other one I gotta read. I like to compare books a lot of times between authors and stuff to see if they have anything different. And sometimes they do. One have more information than the other. Sometimes, or both of them have information that you need. Um, but women got demonized. They did any if that was capable of doing any kind of spiritual practice. Because you got to think, for her to know how to do stuff like anointing with oils. I just told y'all about Boston and how she's a lady of perfumes, and even in ancient Egypt, that's the spiritual practices is they anoint statues and stuff with oils, which the Roman Catholics started doing. So yes, she was already a spiritual woman that was forced to hide in plain sight under this Abrahamic religion, patriarchy religion, and she was just doing her best to be as humble as she could, but she had been destroyed. So this is Mary Magdalene. She was considered to be a devil, so they got mad that he forgave her, right? Told her she was forgiven, put her back up. He lifted her back up like, nah, baby, you don't belong down there. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't like that. They was like, what the nerve? Who the heck? What the heck do you think you're doing? Letting this woman make her feel good about herself. They didn't like Jesus because he was doing that. They didn't like, don't you ever put these women back on a pedestal. Woo, baby, they did. So it got right here. Let's just keep it real. If Jesus was really a patriarch, he would have never got crucified. Let's just talk about it. He would have never got crucified. He got crucified because he went on board with that mess. So it has right here. And Joanna, the wife of Chusa, Harold Stewards, and Susanna, and many others which ministered unto them of their substance. And when much people were gathered together and were come to him out of every city, these spake by a parable. Okay? So it's like, so that's another thing. They started, this is where that came from. Once they was able to enslave women and destroy the bastard consciousness, which is their feminine concept, they would just take on as many wives as they want, because what could the woman do? She didn't have a choice. She didn't have rights. She didn't have any rights anymore. So he could just do whatever he wanted, even if she didn't wanted it. Excuse me, that's not what I mean. Even if she didn't want to, because she had no way of truly being provided for without a man. That does not make you a king. If you want to read that, if you want to read the whole chapter in Luke 7, you can read the whole chapter of Luke 7. And then, but I started at verse 44 because that was the main thing. And then you can read into chapter 8, but you can read the whole chapter. Now let's talk about what's happening right now. Because what's happening right now is a product of all these generations of patriarchy, okay? So, John chapter 8. It got right here. Hold on real quick. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Make sure I want to get this right. Oh, hold on. No. Let's go over here. Now we're gonna read. That's what it is. Not that one. But if you want to read that, you can. John chapter 8, but I'm not gonna read that. So we're gonna go to 1 Timothy, 2 Timothy. Let's see right here. 2 Timothy chapter 3. 2 Timothy chapter 3. That's what we're gonna go to. Ooh, now this one, this is what I'm talking about. This is what's happening right now, y'all. So 2 Timothy chapter 3. It has right here. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. And we are definitely in perilous times. Because let's just keep it real. I gotta say this. It's not a coincidence. And I want y'all to really pay attention to this. Men and women, this is very important. The rise in HIV, AIDS, famines, plagues, all of this stuff is in an all-time high now. It's not, people's healths are failing. Okay? It has right here. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous boosters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. And oh, it got right here. Without natural affection. Exactly. Without natural affection. Because patriarchy, this is a product of patriarchy. It made you hate the woman, hate the feminine principle altogether. And you thought you was going to be able to be a man. Without this, you can't. Because you're from a woman. So you get feminine aspects that you are made up of as a man. That's why you have a belly button. Because you came from your mother's belly. So it had without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce despisers of those that are good. Epstein files, Diddy, R. Kelly. See what I'm saying? Look at all the exposure. Thank you so much. Look at all the exposure. It got right here. Traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God. They definitely lovers of everything else but God. And they just told you in Psalms 22 verse 10 who God is. I was cast upon thee from the womb, but thou art my God from my mother's belly. They are lovers of pleasure only, not of God. Remember, that is why they didn't like us having sensuality. They wanted us to operate in sexuality. So they can be only about pleasure. You can't just be only about the pleasure and no love, no logic. That is imbalance. And it's a disservice. And that's why we are what's going on today. You know, I don't want to get into, I do my best to stay away from relationship conversations because I'm not in a relationship. I'm not a relationship expert. I've never been married, never been engaged, none of that stuff. And honestly, I personally feel like it's the world is not in the best place to even be in relationships or married. It's just not. It's you can try all you want to, but the average man or woman got demons that they have gone unaddressed. Some of them are unaware of them. So the ones that are aware, they won't do nothing about it. They just sit with them. They keep projecting them onto everybody. The ones that are aware, it's terrible. It's terrible, and I don't feel like it's worth the risk. Not right now. It's not worth the risk. If you are happy with yourself, at peace with yourself, and doing what you love for a living, and don't have any obligations outside of yourself, you should stay that way. That's freedom. Because people are waiting around to pull you down. The world in chaos right now. All right. So it has right here, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, for such turn away. So they have godliness in them. So men are godly. Yes, they are. They godly because they came from a God. That's what I'm saying. But they don't like being godly. They rather be egotistical, patriarchal, domineering, narcissistic. Because let's just keep it real, y'all. Being in your lower self is easier than being in your higher self. That's why majority of people around the world are doing it. It's easy to be in the flesh. It's not easy to love. Now, love shouldn't be hard. No. See, that's nothing. Love is hard now because people aren't operating in love. And if you think people can truly operate in love under patriarchy, specifically the woman and the man. A man can't even operate in love that lives by patriarchy because patriarchy ain't got nothing to do with love. It's about dominance and power and control. So you can't expect people to operate in love together in harmony like in the ways of ancient Kemet teaching under patriarchy. It's not going to happen. So they know how to be godly, and a lot of them refuse to be godly. So we got right here, for of this sort are they which creep into houses. So they always creeping in houses, ladies. And yeah, come on, let's just keep it real. They do creep. Let's read it again. For of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women, laden with sin, led away with divers lust. So this is just saying, look, let's ring the bell on that verse. That was Second Timothy chapter 3, verse 6. So they always creeping in and out of houses, and specifically with silly women. So they don't typically like smart women. Once again, they don't like witches. Only a divine masculine would not have a problem with a bruja or a witch like Mary Magdalene was. You know what I'm saying? He would respect how wise she was and put her back where she belongs, right? But patriarchy men do not like witches. They believe they are devilish and demonic, and they should be burned. Just like y'all, if you ever seen American Horror Story, them witch hunters, they should be burned or put under your authority as a man and completely under your control and your submission. That's the only way they see y'all. That's the only way they'll ever see us. That's terrible, actually, too. So they only want to be in their lust. They are divers of lust only. Lust, no love, just straight lust. And honestly, that's just disgusting. Honestly, that's just disappointing. It's no fun. Lust is not that fun. Not for me. I understand lust is a desire that people naturally have. Men and women can have lust. It's attraction and stuff like that. But to only operate in lust, nah, that's not fun. That's nasty. That's why we have all these fake plagues and famines and stuff going around there, and diseases. Operating in lust, you're not thinking clearly. You're in your lower self, so you're nasty. Lust is nasty. Lust will not care. Lust is filthy. If you go low enough, it becomes it's filthy. You won't care. You're just doing it because I just want to do it. It don't matter if it's not good for you. It don't make sense. This is dangerous for you to do this. You'll do it anyway because you're in your lust. So lust is dangerous. All right. So it has right here. It got ever leaning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Hold on, excuse me. Ever learning, not leaning, ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of truth. So let me talk about this. Oh, I got to talk about this. Oh, let's ring the bell. Hold on. So ladies and gentlemen, I was thinking about that song just creeping like TLC did. Wow, I was thinking about that song. But that's on them. But and it got ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. So a lot of them, they're patriarchal men know a lot of them know a lot. They know a lot. Some, not all of them. That's what I'm saying. Not all of them. But some of them know a great deal. They're very wise, right? Just because a man holds knowledge does not mean he's a divine masculine. It does not mean he's not operating in patriarchy. So some of them boost themselves in a lot of knowledge and stuff, and a lot of women that prefer that don't study enough and don't know enough because maybe you don't have time to, or you've never had the passion to, and you need to, you can get easily siphoned by a man like that because he knows so much and you think he could teach you something. So I'm like, wow, he's teaching me so much. I ain't even know that, right? Because you don't want to do the research and teach yourself, right? Which women are the teachers because you're the birth giver. So, and you spend most of the time. So that's another thing. You spend most of your time with the children. They made it that way with patriarchy. So how are you learning from him when a woman taught him? You need to go, if anything, you need to go figure out what woman he been learning from more than likely. I'm not saying they don't have male mentors, but I'm just saying men, let's just keep it real. So they know the truth, a lot of them, and still won't live in the truth. That's patriarchy. Okay. That's patriarchy. They know the truth. But they won't even live in the truth. They totally disregard the truth. Okay, so we got right here. Now, as Jannes and Jambres withstood Moses, so do these also resist the truth. Men of corrupt minds reprobate concerning the faith. But they shall proceed no further, for their folly shall be manifest unto all men, as theirs also was. But thou hast fully known my doctrine, manner of life, purpose, faith, long suffering, charity, patience, persecution, affliction, which came unto me at Antioch, at Iconium and Lystra, and persecution I endured, but out of them all the Lord delivered me. So that's what I'm saying. So they know the truth, and it's saying they're going to receive what they got coming to them. So now this is This is just true. I watch a lot of content online, y'all. I try not to consume too much because some of this stuff, if you consume too much, y'all, it'll take you down. It'll take you down. So I recommend taking a break here and there. Me personally, I do. I take a break and just not delve so much in all that content online. But there's heavy videos right now, specifically males and females. That's another thing. It's an equal amount of males and females going live about the 4B movement, going live about the red pillars and stuff, and how it seems like a war against men and women. I'm gonna keep it real, and it's terrible. It seems like a war against men and women. They talking about they're talking about they're talking about the lonely man epidemic, and also the lonely woman epidemic, and then they talking about that. So now, because certain women have decided to refrain from relationships, which it refrain from marriage, refrain from family life, refrain from having children, and let alone even being involved with a man, having sex with them at all whatsoever, and the pleasures of all that. Now women are getting demonized again. So yes, child-free women and women that refuse to be married or refuse to be mothers at all are becoming demonized for that. They're trying to say there's a shortage too. So they're trying to say there's a birth shortage, right? Which is why laws got passed in different states where women could not get abortions no more. So anytime they want to, this is patriarchy, y'all. This is, ladies and gentlemen, listen up. This is typical patriarchy. So every time they want to control the narrative of life, they start stripping laws away. So now women can't get an abortion. Now that's illegal again. Just like witchcraft and Gnostic consciousness became illegal. So this is just the process. I want us to pay attention to these processes. It seems minor now because the stuff that we've been hearing about for generations is now becoming a living testament in your physical life. You're actually living in a time where you're seeing the stuff that we've studied about for generations or just known about. So, but now they also, like I said, they're talking about the lonely man epidemic because men are literally getting online. Now, some men, I'm proud of this. There are men that got websites, YouTube channels speaking about the failure of male role model leadership teachings amongst males and why they're so in bad shape. And being lied to and misled by their forefathers for so long. So they're talking about, y'all don't understand, women are tired of all this stuff, and you really thought they was gonna deal with this stuff, this disrespect, like what they said in Second Timothy chapter 3 forever. You know what I mean? You thought women was gonna keep dealing with that forever because y'all really, you know what I'm saying? So some men are depressed because they can't get a woman. And that's why I said men will become lovers of themselves. Men are not like women in the aspects of being able to be alone. They are naturally physical, which is why they didn't like us being in our intuition, independence, and sensuality, because it takes their power away from being having access to us, and for us even to really need them, really, you know what I'm saying, outside of wanting to be married. So if the woman don't want to get married, if she don't want to have children, and he's wondering what I'm supposed to do out here, become lovers of themselves. And that's what's happening. They becoming lovers of themselves. So that was the solitary witch part 6. I'm at the hour 18 minutes. This is perfect timing. I knew I was gonna go over a little bit because I wasn't about to rush this. I feel like I covered everything I needed to cover. If you like this content, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank y'all for participating. Thank y'all for all y'all comments. Okay, this is gonna be here whenever y'all get to it. Like I said, this is the witch hours, and this is what I want to do, because tomorrow, this weekend in general, I have a full weekend. I'm working 2 events, and I'm also going out to have fun. So I'm working and playing this weekend. All right. So I wanted to get this out there. The full moon in Sagittarius is this Sunday. So, I'll be doing that. Look out for that coming soon. Do y'all moon rituals. It's a very fiery moon. It's in Sagittarius. So any Sagittarius, y'all going to be feeling the heat, and we all going to feel the heat. Okay. We're going to be feeling this fiery energy. Okay. So also, y'all seen my new Boston line. Go on my website. Check out the Boston line. Get y'all some things to tap in. Remember, I told you Boston is for men and women. It's a duality. It's not about men versus women. It's about us both, okay? Because we do need each other. Check that out. Check anything else out on my website that may speak to you. Guys, on the Rise Out Life. If you want to get a reading by me, it's Sacred Energy Exchange 222@gmail.com. All the information is at the end of this video. If y'all want to donate, I have Venmo, Goddess on the Rise. I have PayPal, goddessonarise.life@gmail.com. I have Cash App and Chime, Copper Queen, and Queen is 33QU33N. Nothing is too big or too small. And I appreciate y'all. All right. So Marina's blessings, energy back to spirit. Earth, air, fire, water, spirit, y'all. Until next time. I believe it's Venus Day now. So happy Venus Day, happy Friday, happy Holy Day. Happy early Sagittarius full moon. Peace, love, and balance. Copper Queen checking out.